Welcome back to our ranking of our top 10 Kobe signature models. If you didn't see 10 through 6 and everything else that we left out, go check it out right now. The link is in the description. But in this video, we're getting serious. Top 5.
This is the real deal.
Number 5, fittingly, I got the Kobe 5. I like that shoe a lot. Again, you can't go wrong. So anything we say negatively is just to make our case for the ones we have above it.
Yeah.
For me, the critique is I'm always a fan of a shoe that has layers. I'm old school like that.
Not.
This was a one-piece type thing. It was all, hyperfused, but it did it good, right? But for me, I like my layers. I like how the materials play off each other's. I think that you get better colorways that way.
This is from an aesthetic standpoint.
Right.
Okay, and I agree with that. Visually, you need layers. That's what's missing in today's footwear.
Exactly. But again, the performance, you just can't overlook it. And with that being said, some of the colorways of the Kobe 5 are amazing. Bruce Lee.
The Bruce Lee is the best.
That might be the best Kobe colorway.
Based solely on the fact that they added the f***ing claw marks,
I know,
man.
sick. I mean,
Dude.
those are great. That's why the Kobe 5 is number 5 for me. What do you got?
My number 5 is the Kobe 8. At that time, that was probably the best low-top shoe that I've ever played in.
For sure.
At that time. Not only did it perform well, but to me, it also, like the 7, did a really great job of telling stories with color and patterns. The materials I absolutely love. That was one of the first shoes that put in a fabric.
Yeah, and I remember it was like engineered mesh. Wait, what?
I thought that was an injury waiting to happen, which some people could say is true because he did bust his Achilles in it, but that wasn't the shoe's fault.
Right. It was Mark Jackson's fault for not calling a timeout. That's why he got fired. Yo, Mark, you led us to the semifinals, but you killed Kobe, so you're fired.
So you were talking about that you liked options. Now that's where the Kobe 8 killed everything, because not only did it give you options, but you did not have to ID the shoe.
Right.
They had the Nike ID shoe, which allowed you to choose the shoe, the colorway, however you wanted it, plus the cushion option. Okay, that's just a good thing right there. But it also had, you could buy the midsoles separately. They were like $40 or $50 or something like that. And for a shoe like that, where you're destroying the guts, but your outer shell might be cool, you just might need. And that's where Nike's smart, because they're like, F all you guys, we're gonna make as much as we can off of you, because we know that the shoe that we built will last X amount and the cushion won't. And so that's where I get irritated. Nike needs to just sell the cushions by themselves. You know how many people will buy a full-length Zoom midsole?
I know. I've thought about this, and that's a great idea.
Nike has us by the balls.
I know, but in your mind, how would that translate? Would that just only be online? Or will there be a day where you go to Foot Locker and they're like, what cushion do you want with this?
See, that's the cool part, is that I felt that might have been where Nike was going, because this was at a time when we had, right after this was the LeBron 11. We have the Jordans that had tried it, the 2011, 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it looked like footwear was going.
They definitely have been not fully going that direction like we thought they would. And you know what I think might have been the reason? So that LeBron didn't wear his and so they might have thought, these guys, this is great for us, but the guys with orthopedic or whatever,
orthotic inserts.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense for them, and that technically hurts more than helping us out.
I agree, but I still think that Nike could do it.
Yeah, they could definitely do it, because
tell me that wouldn't be cool, man.
Because we just learned that the Kyrie PE of the Hyperdunk had a zoom heel.
And
so it's different.
And if you don't know what he's talking about, go to my Instagram. Somebody sent me a video. They had gotten their hands on a PE of, what was it, the 2013 Hyperdunk?
13, yes.
And it's a lunar shoe, right?
Right.
Kyrie's PE version, it was his specific shoe. They didn't put lunar in that. Kyrie said, F Lunar Lawn, I want Zoom Air.
He probably said, I want no cushion. They're like, yo, we need you on the floor.
No.
Because he hates cushion, like he doesn't like it.
Says who?
Says the Kyrie 2.
That's what I'm saying. So putting no cushion in the Kyrie 2 saves Nike on production costs.
You think his shoe has zoom?
Oh, yes, I do.
I don't know.
I think Kyrie's shoe is completely customized to him.
Well, that's the point, is you can make these guys their shoe, but then give us this drop-in midsole technology where we could choose the cushion.
That's what I'm saying.
You could do that. Let's go on to number 4. You had this one earlier, and you talked about the performance. For me, it's the Kobe. The
Adidas,
one.
yes.
The Adidas one.
The first Audi.
I love how that shoe looks. I just think it perfectly, like the Crazy 8, it perfectly embodies where we were.
The era.
Not just in sneakers, but in overall design of the way stuff looked, whether it be from shoes to cell phones to architecture.
That shoe should be on an episode of I Love the 90s.
The Crazy 8.
The Kobe also.
The Kobe's more like 2000s.
Or was that 2000? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the whole Matrixy revolution thing.
Yeah.
Everything was techie, sleek. It had long lines and it had metallic sheens to it.
To me, though, that design still feels like 90s to me. It was so borderline.
To me, it's 2000, so to each its own. But like the Crazy 8, it perfectly embodied where we were in fashion and overall design of that era. The colorways
They were clean.
are simple but amazing. So like we said for the Crazy 8 again, if you can make a sneaker in black and white and it's sick, you win. And that's what the Kobe did. And also, I wish in the retros they would have the little head in the back, but that is also another nice personal touch. But I just love how they embossed the 3 stripes.
The retros didn't have the original traction either.
That's what I have for my number 4. What about you?
My number 4 is the Kobe 9 Elite Low. If there's one thing that you should carry over from shoe to shoe, is the traction.
Traction, right.
Because at the bottom of the shoe is one space on the sneaker that doesn't need to tell a story.
True.
And it's always the place that they put the most story into. And it pisses me off because sometimes it makes the performance suffer.
I think it's because that's the easiest place to put it. So like these guys come in and they're like, hey, like Lillard's like, hey, I want the Oakland tree logo with the Metro lines in there. And they're like, we're not gonna put that on a sneaker, Dave. Okay, let's put it on the bottom.
That's the foundation of a shoe right there. Don't mess up the foundation.
If that fails you,
everything else
doesn't matter what else.
Everything else doesn't work because you can't wear it. You know what I mean? And so that traction pattern, that should be on every shoe.
Yeah,
every
definitely
shoe.
in the Hall of Fame. So you said the Elite Low.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I thought you would have said just the engineered mesh low.
I really like the engineered mesh low, but the Elite Low, the containment is just a little bit better.
See, I would go engineered mesh if I were you. Mesh, because the tongue was different.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And the tongue is great. Yeah, so that's just where I would go.
That's the thing, is that the Kobe 9 period is in this spot, and then my pick of the 3 versions, like throw away the high tops. I did not like playing in that with the extra sleeve thing.
Let's go on to top 3. We're getting real serious. What do you got for your number 3?
Number 3 is actually the Kobe 5, which you had a little bit lower, but again, his list is
5.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, I thought that might have been your number 1. I'm interested to see what you got.
It's not my number 1 because this is the shoe that I fractured my tibia in.
Oh, okay. See, that does a lot to a sneaker. I mean, look what it did to KD. He didn't wear the 7s. He wanted to go back to the 6. So
I had a hairline fracture in my tibia. That hurt. I thought that it was just some really gnarly shin splints, but no. there was a crack in there. The traction on that shoe was iffy. Okay, it was a hit or miss, but it hit more times than it missed for me. The cushion on that shoe, man, I loved it while it lasted. That's why I broke the tibia, because I kept playing. I kept playing in the shoe even after that was crunched. This was in the beginning of my YouTube.
That was the first video I ever saw of Nightwing.
Oh, was it?
Kobe 5 review.
Hey.
It was about 17 minutes long, I think, but it got the point across.
Really thorough. Really thorough.
Yeah.
So how you didn't like the fuse upper, it's called skin wire at the time. It was the next evolutionary stage of fly wire. The Kobe 4 had just midfoot fly wire, and then Kobe 5 was everything.
Everywhere.
It was skin wire. It was a 1-to-1 fit, and it was awesome, but that wasn't durable.
The Kobe 5, I mentioned it. It was in my number 5 spot. I really liked the heel. Another thing that I didn't mention was a commercial. Broke ankles.
Oh yeah.
Great commercial.
Is that the ankle insurance?
Yes. That definitely elevates the sneaker. You know what I mean?
Hella funny.
Like promotion could definitely elevate a sneaker. That definitely helped the Kobe 5.
That was some good marketing right there.
For sure. So for my number 3, you already talked about it. It's the Kobe 8 for me. The reason why is more nostalgic than anything. Like we've already talked about, it's a great performer. The colorways are fantastic. My favorite one is the purple gradient one. It's
Isn't
amazing.
this jacket from the Kobe 8 series?
Yes, that jacket is from the Kobe 8 series. But for me, it's nostalgic because I watched my first Laker game that I ever watched with my father. I was wearing those shoes. So that's why the Kobe 8 is top 3 for me, just because of that. We went to Nike SF, got the sneaker. It's a great shoe. I have a lot of colorways of that sneaker.
I bought every colorway.
Almost
every colorway.
A low-key fire colorway is the Blitz blue one. It's the blue with the bright crimson swoosh, the speckled crimson laces. Those are great.
I wanted those, but I thought that the blue ones I had were already dope.
So now we're getting real serious. Top 2. What do you think? You guess what you think my number 2 is.
Okay, is it a Nike?
Yes.
Okay, I already don't know. Actually, is it the Kobe 3?
I didn't have those. My
Kobe
number
4?
2, no, is the Kobe 6.
Ah, damn, I forgot about those.
The Kobe 6
those
is
are on my list, man. And I didn't even
number
remember.
2. Now I'll tell you why it's not number 1 when we get to 1.
Okay.
But let's just marvel at the 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sneaker that we've talked about before. It shouldn't have worked.
whole
You looked
thing.
at it and you were like, what is happening here? We're really going this direction. I know the Black Mamba's a cute name or whatever, but it doesn't really need to be a sneaker. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
I remember I had this 2-hour break in college, and right across the street was the mall. Me and my girlfriend would go over there. 3 times a week, every day, I would walk into Foot Locker and just be like,
Just to look at them?
what? Yeah, I couldn't afford it at the time. And I was just like, what? And every time I walked in, I wanted it more. As soon as I got the money, I purchased my first pair in Chicago, either between that or Jordans in Chicago. I was really wanting to get Jordans in Chicago, but the dudes at Nike Town, Chicago were like, yo, those Kobe's though. And I was like, you're right. So I copped those. It's just a sneaker that shouldn't have worked, but when you wore them, honestly to me, you felt like not the Black Mamba, but a disciple of him. Like you felt like, oh man, I'm about to murder some dudes on the court with these. Like
that's fun.
You really put on the persona. I had the all black pair. Another reason why it holds up for me is it held up outdoors, which was a big thing coming from Hawaii, which is where I'm from, where outdoor balling is a huge thing. So that's why the Kobe 6 is number 2 for me. What do you got for your second one? Is it the Kobe 4?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
I see where we're going here.
Yes.
Tell me why the Kobe 4 is number 2 for you.
I've always loved low tops, and I've always worn low tops. Low tops have not always fit the best though. They weren't always like greatly translated. So
They almost were like a novelty, like here's a low top for you guys.
they were almost like an afterthought. And this was marketed as this is the new shoe. I was like, yo, he's marketing a low top as
Right.
That was crazy to me. And this was the same time as the Hyperdunk, which was very high. Man, I love that shoe.
That's a good shoe. And if you are smart enough to guess, the Kobe 4 is number 1 for me. You're talking about the Kobe 4. Let me just chime in on why I think that's the best one. That's the best one to me. And you'll tell me why you think the 6 is. For me, the Kobe 4, man, that to me was the first time Kobe was like, hey, I know it's a low top. You guys might be hesitant, but I'm telling you, this works. Soccer players, they make more cuts and maneuvers than we do. They're fine. They play in low top. So it was the first time I felt like there was a real connection between the athlete and the sneaker. It wasn't just a sneaker with the athlete's name on it.
Yeah.
This was something that only was with the Jordan brand line.
This was a product for the athlete.
Yeah, and that was something, like I just said, was only something that I've experienced with the Jordan line, where you're like, okay, the Jordan shoe is Jordan's. Everything else was a sneaker with some dude's name on it. But the 4 was like, I'm like, this is for Kobe. And just watching, that was also the first time they really started releasing like design process videos, documentaries of how they designed sneakers.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I really dove into that world, and it was just great.
He was proving everybody, because he was killing it.
Yes.
In that shoe.
Not only was it a sneaker that I felt like was for Kobe, but like I said earlier, sometimes a promotion or an endorsement could lift the sneaker.
Yeah.
The MVP puppets, dude.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Amazing. It to me was like the first time I seen someone just be like, I'm telling you what I want, and they made it happen. Because usually these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even then, I'm sure that the guys over at Nike were probably like, yo, people don't like lows.
We're trying to sell sneakers. You know what I mean?
You're crazy.
Yeah.
And nah.
And the colorways too. The Minneapolis colorways, dope. The finals colorways were dope. I mean, the 4 to me is just it's the best Kobe signature.
Yeah, that's the shoe that just, I mean, I fell in love with the Kobe line at that model.
Right. So that's why to me it's number 1. Now you tell me why the number 6 is better than the 4.
So, because initially I wanted to put the 4 at number 1.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but the 6, I've said this before on camera too, the 6 is the first Kobe, and it was the first shoe since high school that I wore and obliterated.
I was like that with the Jordan 29. Like those things are unwearable. Not because they popped or anything, just because literally ran them to the ground. Yeah.
And the Kobe 6, the insides were falling apart.
Yeah.
More than the outsides were.
Right.
Because the outside had the polyurethane scales.
Yes.
And it held the shoe together on top of that mesh upper, which had a different version of skin wire, like again, the evolution from the 5, but it had more cushion this time. And I remember the insole being like, these guys are crazy. This is styrofoam, but that shit molded to your foot so nicely.
Oh, perfectly.
The heel counter, once everything was broken in, whew, you know, the beefed up, slightly cushioned from the 5, everything that I liked, again, evolution, bringing evolution back into it, everything that I liked from the 4 and the 5 made its way into the 6. Plus some with the scales, which I thought was dumb. I wish that I still had a pair. It's so comfortable. I remember wearing them well after I was done playing in them, just because they were that comfortable. And they were beat to shit. And I still was like, yo, they just feel good.
That tops our list. You're 6, I'm 4.
Our top 2 was the same. Our top 2
was the same. And I think
that's pretty weird.
Let us know. Rank your 1 through 5.
Yeah, this is where you put all of your top 10.
Exactly. We love to chop it up with you guys. Hopefully you like the video. Let us know what you think about the Kobe line in general.